ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः वशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति न पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ अग्ने नयः सुपताराहे अस्मान् विश्वानि देव वयुनानि विद्वान् युयोध्यस्मज्जुहुराणमेनो भूयिष्ठान्ते नममुक्तिं विधेम ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ ब्रह्मन् ब्राह्मणो ब्रह्मवर्चसी जायताम् आराष्ट्रे राजन्यः शूरैषव्यातिव्याधि महारतो जायताम् दोग्ध्रीधेनुः वोढानद्वान् आशुसप्तिः पुरन्धिर्योषाः जिष्णोरतेष्टाः सभेयो युवा अस्य यजमानस्य वीरो जायताम् निकामे निकामेन पर्जन्यो न वर्षतो अलवत्यो न वोषधयः पच्यन्ताम् योगक्षेमो नः कल्पेताम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ अग्ने नयः सुपताराये अस्मान् विश्वानि देव वयुनानि विद्वान् योऽध्यस्मत्पुराणमेनो भूयिष्ठान्ते नममुक्तिं विधेम ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ तत्सत्.
Thank you, Vasan. Now Shreyas will recite the Narayana Upanishad. Are you Shreyas? Are you there?
Aha Guruji.
Recite.
Om Atha Narayanopanishad. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunakto Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Atha Purusho Havai Narayano Kamamada Praja Sujayeti Narayanat Prano Jayate Manas Sarvendriyani cha Khangvayurjyotirapa Prithvi Vishwasya Dharini Narayanat Brahma Jayate Narayanat Rudro Jayate Narayanadindro Jayate Narayanat Prajapatayah Prajayamte Narayanat Dvadashaditya Rudravasavasarvacha Chandagansi Narayana Deva Samutpadyamte Narayane Pravartante Narayane Praliyamte Om Athanityo Narayanah Brahma Narayanah Shivascha Narayanah Shakrascha Narayanah Java Pratavaicha Narayanah Kalascha Narayanah Dishascha Narayanah Urdhvascha Narayanah Adhascha Narayanah Antarbahishcha Narayanah Narayana ye Vedagum Sarvam यद्भूतं यश्च भव्यं निष्कलो निरञ्जनो निर्विकल्पो निराख्यातशुद्धो देव एको नारायणः न द्वितीयोऽस्ति कश्चित् य एवं वेद स विष्णुरेव भवति स विष्णुरेव भवति ॐ इत्यग्रे व्याहरेत् नम इति पश्चात् नारायणायेत्युपरिष्टात् ॐ इत्येकाक्षरं नम इति द्वे अक्षरे नारायणायेति पञ्चाक्षराणि एतद्वै नारायणस्याष्टाक्षरं पदम् यो ह वै नारायणस्याष्टाक्षरं पदमध्येति अनपब्रवः सर्वमायुरेति विन्दते प्राजापत्यगुं रायस्पोषं गौपत्यं ततोऽमृतत्वमश्नुत इति य एवं वेद प्रत्यगानन्दं ब्रह्म पुरुषं प्रणवस्वरूपम् अकार उकार मकार इति तानेकधा समभरत्तदेतदोमिति यमुक्त्वा मुच्यते गोविजन्म संसारबन्धनात् ॐ नमो नारायणायेति मन्त्रोपासकः वैकुण्ठभुवनलोकं गमिष्यति तदिदं परं पुण्डरीकं विज्ञानघनं तस्मात् तद्धिधावन्मातरं ब्रह्मण्यो देवकी पुत्रो ब्रह्मण्यो मधुसूदनो सर्वभूतस्तमेकं नारायणं कारणरूपमकार परब्रह्मोम् एतदतर्पशीर्यो योधीते प्रातरधीयानो रात्रिकृतं पापं नाशयति सायमधीयानो दिवसकृतं पापं नाशयति माध्यन्दिनमादित्याभिमुखो धियानः पञ्चपातकोपपातकात् प्रमुच्यते सर्ववेदपारायण पुण्यं लभते नारायणस्यायुज्यमवाप्नोति नारायणसायुज्यमवाप्नोति य एवं वेद इत्युपनिषत् ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तो सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ओम स्वस्ति.
Thank you very much, Shreyas. Now, Prasad, you start. Welcome.
Morning, everyone. Namaste. It is wonderful to see everybody here, and this is the second of the series of the Pravachana Malika. And as we can see from the agenda, we have this fortune of having Dr. P.C. Murali Madhavan, Emeritus Professor of Sanskrit, Shankaracharya University of Sanskrit, Kanadi, addressing us today. And I welcome you all. And we've just done the Veda Kusumanjali. Now we're ready for the Sangeeta Kusumanjali. So I will be playing the Sangeeta Kusumanjali by Chiranji Kavya Gundlapalli. And she is mentored by her mother, Srimati Lalita Gundlapalli.
Namaste, my name is Kavya Gundlapalli and I will be singing a song on Narayana. Narayana te namo namo, Narayana te namo namo, Bhava Narada Sannuta namo namo, Narayana te namo namo, Bhava Narada Sannuta
I just
Murahara Nagadara Mukunda Madhava Garudagamana Pankajanabha Paramapurusha Pavabandhanate Namo Paramapurusha Pavabandhanate Namo Naramruka Sharira Namo Namo Narayanate Namo Namo Pava Narada Sannuta Namo Namo Jaladishayana Ravi Chandra Vilochana Jalaruha Bhavanuta Charana Yuga Jaladishayana Ravi Chandra Vilochana Jalaruha Bhavanuta Charana Yuga Palibandana Govartana Vallabha Balibandana Govartana Vallabha Nalinotanate Namo Namo Narayanate Namo Namo Pava Narada Sannuta Namo Namo Adideva Saka Lagama Pujita Yadava Kula Mohana Rupa Adideva Saka Lagama Pujita Yadava Kula Mohana Rupa Vedotara Tiruvenkatanayaka Vedotara Tiruvenkatanayaka Nada Priyate Namo Namo Narayanate Namo Namo Pava Narada Sannuta Namo Namo Narayanate Namo Namo Pava Narada Sannuta Namo Namo Narayanate Namo Namo Om.
Excellent, Kavya. Thank you so much for a wonderful performance. Are you there, Kavya?
No, she is not there yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Huh? Oh,
Okay. You should all give an applause, virtual applause. Very well done. Thank you so much. So now I'll welcome Dr. Prabhakar to give the inaugural remarks and introduce our guest speaker today, Dr. P.C. Murali Madhavan.
thank you very much. Today is a wonderful day when we are celebrating on Magasuddha Purnima, and more so this Saturday, the glory of Narayana, Lakshmi Narayana. And so moreover, Narayana is a speaker, he's an advisor, he's a great mentor and protector, etc. And that Narayana is Krishna also, Avatara it is, and is a Purna Avatara. And Guru and Vayu, these two gods requested Krishna to be Arogya Devata. So he has been installed on earth and making him specialized in the work of looking after the Arogya and healing and curing and also encouraging. And so the place where Krishna has been installed with that specialization, in spite of so many other qualities and functions and achievements, etc., of Lord Krishna or Lord Narayana as an avatar. Here he has been made as a Arogya Devata, and because it has been installed, it became known as Guru, Vayu, and Uru. And Uru is the township. So Guru Vayu have made the township. In that town, he has been installed, and he is protecting the world in this Kali Yuga completely and all that. And whenever we remember Guru Vayuru Krishna, that Guru Vayuru is here. Krishna is here because he is a Vishwam Vishnu. He is a Vishnu present any and everywhere. And we have the great opportunity of knowing more and more about this Narayana, Krishna Bhagavan in his aspects, many aspects. Secondly, we have in our Veda Adhyayana Kendra and Waves Bengaluru chapter introduced the Narayaneeyam worship. That is, we have a good bevy of ladies, more so of the Tamilians and other people who have the tradition of visiting places and then reciting the entire Narayaneeyam or some episodes from Narayaneeyam and making after every dashakams, there is used to be Mangalaharati, Naivedya, specific Naivedyas, and then all that. So like that, we have been having, I don't remember much, maybe more than 15 years, 2 times every year, we have the program of Narayaneeyam in our Kendra, and so many people are very much benefited. More so, the Rukmini Kalyanam instance or episode in Narayaneeyam has attracted more people because many people have had their Kalyana Parampara, and therefore every Dashakam is a mantra, is also has the Tantra and has the influence and experience. So I don't want to talk much about Narayaneeyam, but fortunately, this Narayaneeyam, we are on visit to America, and here also we have started classes on Narayaneeyam, and every Saturday evening we are on Zoom. Because of this COVID, we are not having any personal meet or like that, but these Zoom meets are there. So every evening, Saturday, here from America, and a group of devoted people from Atlanta, they have started this Narayaneeyam classes, and I have the fortune of explaining Ye Dashakam or some portion of the Dashakam per class, and see we are going. And today we have come up to 16 Dashakas, 15 completed, and 16 we are that where there is Narayanarayana, Udbhava of Lord Krishna, Lord Narayana. So now we are also having a Narayanarayana meet. We are making Narayana also join with us. And now to speak on Dr. Murali Krishna, he is a versatile scholar. His biodata runs 2 chapters. But we have the fortune of meeting him in myself and my wife, Sitarama Lakshmi, for first time in Kerala, more so in the Guruvayur. And he has helped us to have a special darshan of Guruvayur Krishna, because there are a number of people waiting in long queues to have darshan of Guruvayur Krishna. But we had the privilege of having a very close darshan of Guruvayur Krishna. A number of times we went there. And afterwards, we have invited him to our Veda Adhyayana Kendra annual day celebrations, and we had the pleasure and honor to honor him as Vedasri because of the substantial work and contribution he has done to the Sanskrit, Veda, and many other Indological subjects, and he's an international traveler. So his biodata itself runs to a long way. But however, when I requested him to speak on Narayaneeyam, a right person, he happily agreed with all namaskarams, mudra to Guruvayur Krishna, and therefore our Dr. Anjaneya Prasad, who is a professor in the Mysore University, he has also taken initiative to prepare a beautiful flyer where Narayana appears first. Guruvayur Krishna is there, and then as the strongest devotee, Murali Madhavan's picture also is there, and we are all there in incognito. Therefore, we are all making our namaskarams and to this great Guruvayur Krishna, and we are very much anxious to listen more from our Krishna about the aesthetics of the Guruvayur, the Narayaneeyam, which has been written by Bhattatiri, probably in 16th century, and he has written this particular retelling of the Bhagavatam in 100 dasakas, going to 1000 slokas, and it's very hard to tell Bhagavatam of 18,000 slokas to put into 1,000 slokas. It's really a wonderful job and expertise job. Unless Narayana acceptance is there, it cannot be done. But and moreover, the poet Malpatturu Bhattatiri was not able to see the difficulty or health disturbance in his guru and also in himself. And ultimately, Guruvayur Krishna gave darshan to that. Pasyami Agre, in last portions, you see the excitement of Narayana Bhattatiri, that when he has the vision of Narayana, and so many things. So especially in Kerala, Narayanam is a handbook, and all people are highly devoted to the Guruvayur Krishna. And of course, we are all there doing Vishnu Sahasranamam and all other things. So Narayana is Antimo Devaha. He is the final God. Beyond Narayana, there is nothing. That's what we are all impressed in our scriptures. Narayana Antimo Devaha. Just now we have seen the Shreyas reciting the Narayana Atharva Sirsha Upanishad, where Narayana is identified to be any and everything, and there is nothing extraneous to Narayana. Sarvam Narayana or Guruvayur Krishna Mayam Jagat. So with these few words, and another point is we had the fortune of visiting the Malpatturu, the birthplace and also living place of Bhattatiri. We went all in a jeep, a group of people from Calicut, and I should thank Dr. C. Rajendran, who was also a teacher at that time taking classes. He made it possible for us to visit the house where Malpattur Bhattatiri lived. Wonderful in Kerala, and atmosphere, and also Smaraka Mandiram. We all did some bhajan also there in Smaraka Mandiram there. So all these our contact or memories become green the moment we see that Murali Madhavan present here, a strong devotee to that. Now, not talking more about Narayaneeyam, the poet who has done a wonderful poetry. It's a kavya. Narayaneeyam is a kavya, and though it's a Purana, but in the pen of Bhattatiri, it has become a literary composition. Bhagavatam is a Purana, it's a Mahapurana, and Purana means the style is not very much tough. But here, the style is really poetic and also requires more and more attention to understand each sloka, and so much musical, lullaby-like it is. And if you are reciting that, you feel happy, ecstatic joy. And moreover, the Kerala people have got a special tune or mode to recite the Narayaneeyam. So interesting. Probably Dr. Murali Madhavan will make us listen the Kerala mode of recitation of the Narayaneeyam. With these few words, I request Dr. P.C. Murali Madhavan Garu, Avaru, to start his speech on the great Narayaneeyam, talking about the aesthetics and applications of that great Bhagavatam text, Narayaneeyam. Thank you very much. Sir Murali Madhavan, please. Yes. Hello? Babu, you call him, is there?
Yeah, I have asked him to unmute, so he should be seeing the message. He's talking, sorry. Sir, can you unmute? Are you able to unmute?
Hello?
Now we can hear you, sir. Yes.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, can you hear me and see me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
And see me? You can see me also?
No, your camera is off. So if you can turn it on.
Yeah, I will do. Now?
Yes, you're here. Yes.
Okay. Om Sandrananda Avabodhatmagamανupamitam Kaladesha Avadhibhyam Nirmuktam Nityamuktam Nigamashata Sahasrena Nirbhasyamanam Aspashtam Drishtamatre Punarurupurusharthatmagam Brahma Tattvam Tattavathadi Sakshat Guru Pavanamure Handa Bhagyam Jananam Yonda Pravishya Mama Vachamimam Prasuktam Sanjeevayatyakila Shakridhara Swadhamna Anyamscha Hastajarana Shravanatvagadin Pranan Namo Bhagavate Purushaya Tubhyam. Most respected Dr. C.L. Prabhakarji, beloved inmates of Nada Veda Adhyayana Kendra and the waves of US, United States, the Sajjanas, those who are attending this program online, I salute you all. I express my namaskaram to all. Today, I have been invited by my reverend friend, Dr. C.L. Prabhakar, to deliver a talk on Srimad Narayaneeyam, which has been, it is as jointly organized by Nada Veda Adhyayana Kendra and the waves of United States. You can hear? You can hear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
You can hear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello?
Sir, yes, sir. We are able to hear you.
We can hear you,
we
sir.
are able to hear you.
Okay, okay. Thank you. I am most fortunate and privileged to speak on Narayaneeyam, a gem of a Bhakti Kavya, and also a text, a quintessence of Advaita Vedanta. It is a brilliant compendium of Srimad Bhagavata in 1034 verses, divided into 100 dashakas. It is in adoration of the Lord of Guruvayur, Vishnu incarnated Krishna, the presiding deity of Guruvayur. As Dr. C.L. Prabhakar has told rightly, the Bhagavan Shri Krishna, he himself is medicine and the doctor. Bhishajam and Bhishak and Bheshaja, medicine and doctor. This is the two names in Vishnu Sahasranama, Bheshajam and Bhishak. These names have proved fully meaningful by the life of Narayana Bhattatil. Here,
ये
the
बंद करेंगे
eternal
इसको।
beauty of
ये चल रहा है।
this kavya has been well suggested by poet Narayana Bhatta with several layers of suggested meanings in the third shloka of
ये उससे
second
अच्छा है।
dashaka.
क्या- क्या-
Yat trailokyamakhiyasopi mahidam sammohanam mohanat kandam kandi nidhanatopi madhuram madhuryadhuryadapi saundaryottaratopi sundarataram twadrupam आश्चर्यतोऽप्याश्चर्यम् भुवनेन कस्य कुतुकम् पुष्णादि Vishno Vibho. The meaning is like this, it runs like this. Oh, all-pervading the being, the all-pervading being who is there in all the universe, that will not be entranced by this
अरे एक छोटा गलती से टाइम हो गया।
surprisingly wonderful form, which is superior in excellences to all objects considered great in the three worlds, which is more charming than the most charming of entities, which splendor outshines every form and of brilliance, and whose sweetness and beauty would put to shame all other objects that are noted for such qualities. Here in this verse, in this shloka, the literal sense, that is Vachyartha, it denotes the eternal beauty of Lord Krishna, the bodily form. But at the divine plane of suggested meaning, Vyangyartha, it attunes to the aesthetic charm of Narayaneeyam also. All the epithets given here, the Visheshanas in this shloka, are equally applicable to the body of the Kavya also. Yat Trailokya Mahiyasopi Mahidam, Sammohanam Mohana, Kandam Kandi Nidhanatopi, Madhuram Madhurya Dhuryadapi, Saundaryotaradopi Sundarataram Todrupam, Ascharyadopyasya. It goes like that. The beauty of its Shabda Shilpa, Artha Shilpa, and Rasabhava Shilpa. These are the three major categories of a Kavya. At several contexts, it has been found repeated. Even the opening verse of Narayaneeyam, as you know very well, Sandrananda Avabodhatmakam Anupamitam Kaladeshavadibhyam Nirmukram Nityamukram Nigamashata Sahasrena Nirbhasyamanam Aspashtam Drishtamatre Punarurupurusharthatmakam Brahmatattvam Tattavadbhadi Sakshat Guru Pavanapure Handabhagyam Jananam. In the temple of Guruvayur, there shines in truth and in reality what appears at the first sight to be mere an image, but on contemplation reveals itself reveals itself to be the condensed essence of consciousness, the bliss, the veritable Brahman, the supreme, who is the ultimate end of the human endeavors, to whom there is none comparable, who is ever beyond the limitations of time and space, Desakalavadibhyam Nirmuktam, who is eternally free, and whose nature the numerous texts of the Vedas seek to reveal. Nigama Sadev Giyamanam. Fortunate indeed is mankind that such a manifestation of divinity exists in its midst as the image of Sri Krishna, Handa Bhagyam Janana. Here, the Vachya level, as I quoted in the first verse, Yat Trailokya Mahiyasopi Mahidam. Likewise, in this first starting verse also, it is both the adjectives are equally relevant in both Vachyartha and Vingyartha. In the literal sense, it is applicable to the God, the idol, the Brahmaswarupi Bhagavan. And in the suggested sense, it is applicable to the qualities of this great Kavya. Here the Vachya level, literal meaning, gives a clear picture of the characteristics of God Vishnu Krishna, the presiding deity of Guruvayur, who is his first sight, not so clear, feels only as an idol, but on contemplation realizes that he is the condensed essence of consciousness, the veritable Brahman, the consciousness, the bliss, who is the ultimate Brahman, supreme, who is the ultimate end of all endeavors. And to realize whose nature Vedic mantras seek to realize, Tat Tavat Bhadi Sakshat Guru Pavanapure Hanta Bhagyam Janana. So here it exists in Guruvayur as an idol, as we said earlier. The suggestions brings to the beauty and quintessence and all good characteristics of a kavya of a superior variety, a kavya of a superior variety called Dhvani. Narayana Bhatta, here why I gave such an introduction, connecting the qualities of the Brahman, mentioning the opening verse of Narayaneeyam, to show that Narayaneeyam is the quintessence of Vedanta, and at the same time, as a kavya, it is full of rasa nirbhara. It is full of rasa. It is the super variety of poetry. It is the rasa dhvani kavya. Narayana Bhattadiri, the divine soul, who composed Narayaneeyam, is second to Shankara Bhagavalpada in scholarship and also in creativity. Bhattadiri, actually he is a two-in-one. He is an attractive fusion of solar luster of scholarship and lunar cool light of poetic creativity. I have written a verse on him, and it starts like that. Shastre Vistrata Yukti Jala Jadile Saundarya Saratmage Sahityecha Samam Vihara Chadura Pratnya Tavanyadrishi. This is fully applicable to Matpatur Narayana Bhatta. This is what I wrote about him. His scholarship in various Shastras, especially in Vedanta, and the supreme creativity brought him to the level of Sri Shankaracharya, next to Shankaracharya. Even though Bhattadiri has authored more than 50 compositions in different literary and scientific genres, it is the only work, Narayaneeya, which stands unique both as a Shastra and a Kavya. Narayaneeya is a Shastra and also a Kavya, because it is the condensed form of Srimad Bhagavata. Bhagavata is also a Kavya and a Shastra. In the beginning itself, in the Bhagavata, it is told that Bhagavata is Rasamalayam. Actually, a Kavya is a Rasalaya, Rasamalayam, Rasasya Alayam. So, and Nigama Kalpataror Galidam Bhalam. So, there the Vedanta comes. So, both Vedanta, it is a text on Vedanta, and also it is a text, it's also equally a super variety of Kavya. So, even though the Bhattadiri has authored more than 50 compositions in different literary and scientific genres, it is the only work, Narayaneeya, which stands unique, both as a Shastra and a Kavya. So, A Shastra has to be studied with Yukti and Vibhakti. And a Kavya can be studied by Bhakti and Vibhakti. So Bhaktriya, Yuktriya, Vibhaktriya cha Niyam Bhagavatam Smritam. So Bhagavata can study only by Bhakti, only through Bhakti, and Yukti. Yukti means logic, and Vibhakti, that is wisdom, intelligence, the knowledge. Narayaneeyam, the condensed form of Bhagavata, the epitome of Bhagavata, rather, also deserves these observations. As we know, the core idea of Bhagavata is, as suggested in the text, Sarva Vedanta Saram Yad. What is the essence of all Vedanta texts? Shankara says, with half of a verse, Shlokardhena Pravachami Yadukram Grantha Kodibhi Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva. This is what Shankara has told. So here also the philosopher, the Darshanika, he says, Sarva Vedanta Saram Yat Brahma Atmaikatva Lakshanam. Brahma Atmaikatva Lakshanam. Brahma and Atma, Jivatma, both are same. Ekatva Lakshanam. Vastu Advidiyam. Tam Nishtam. Kaivalyega Prayojan. So this is the crux of Vedanta. This is what is to be studied from Vedanta text. The crux of Bhagavata is the realization of Jiva as Paramatma. The ultimate bliss. Paramatma means the ultimate bliss, the consciousness. In Bhagavata, we realize that all the stories depicted in it, in Bhagavata, are directly or indirectly develop bhakti, the bhakti rasa, the emotion bhakti, the bhakti rasa, with its perfection of application, and also lead to the final emancipation. Even though Sri Shankaracharya theorized in Viveka Chudamani that his Prakarana text on Vedanta, Viveka Chudamani, I quote, Karmana jayate bhaktihi, bhakriyat jnanam prajayate, jnanat sanjayate moksha, idi Vedartha Nishaya. It means that jnana is the direct upaya for moksha. That's what Shankara says. Bhakti can be an upaya to jnana, but the direct upaya to moksha is jnana. That is the principle of Shankara, theory of Shankara. But Patadiri is of opinion. He has a different opinion. He is of opinion that if you develop bhakti, that is called not normal bhakti, laugika bhakti, the nishkama bhakti, which is of a superior variety, ultimately you will reach the final emancipation, and bhakti is only identity to what we call identity connected to moksha. And it is bhakti goes to here Shankara, he says that through karma, when you do nishkama karma, your mind become clear, and the God will dawn in your mind, and you will have a bhakti, you will be a bhakta, and through bhakti you will slowly move to the vibhakti, that is jnana, and finally you will, through jnana, you will reach the final salvation. But here, all the at the fag end of Bhagavata, in the last chapter, the Sarga, Krishna Dvaipayana, the Puranakara, Bhagavatakara, says that Srimad Bhagavatam Purana Mamalam Yad Vaishnavanam Dhanam Yasmin Paramaham Sevritim Amalam Jnanam Param Giyade. Yasmin Jnana, Yasmin Paramaham Sevritim Amalam Jnanam Param Giyade. Tatra Jnana Viraga Bhakti Sahitam, Naishkarmyam Avishkritam, Yet Shrunvan Vipathan Vicharanaparo Bhakriya Vimuchyennaga. Here also, even though the Chittavrti called Bhakti has not been accepted by prominent rhetoricians, Alangarikas, as a rasa, Bhattatiri made it a supreme sentiment. He told that this is the main sentiment, and all other worldly sentiments like Shringara, Shoka, Karuna, and all those things are subservient to it, subordinate to it. And he says that Bhakti is the dominant rasa. He proved it by composing Narayaneeyam in this level. He developing it with the support of all other Bhakti, developing it with the support of all other rasas, all bhavas, as says as it is auxiliaries of angas. And actually, this is the theory of Madhusudana Saraswati, the great Vedantin of Shankara order. Madhusudana Saraswati, the author of Bhakti Rasayana, a great, unique Alangara Grantha, a rhetoric work, where he establishes that Bhakti is the main sentiment in the Kavya. Even though in Bhagavata, it is depicted 9 types of Bhakti as Shravanam, Kirtanam, etc., we can come across unlimited shades of Bhakti being handled by the unique creativity of Bhattatiri in Narayaneeyam. Actually, Bhagavatakara says about 9 different types of bhaktis. In Bhagavata also, we can see the different shades of it. But in Purana, you know, there are abundant possibilities of narrating the Rajavamsas and the history and so many other things which are not directly connected with the bhakti emotion, the bhakti rasa. That's why in Purana we are not feeling much bhakti. But when you come to the Kavya, Bhakti Kavya, especially Narayaneeyam, you will straightly from the very first syllable of the text up to the last, Yogi Indranam Tadangeshwadhika Sumudharam Patnya Tvade Mahatvam, the last verse of Narayaneeyam, it is full of, it is just like Daksha Paka, just like a grapes. When the grapes is fully ripe enough, if you put in your mouth and just have a small bite, immediately the entire sweet water will, the entire rasa will be flowing like anything as a stream in your mouth. Like that, this kavya also, bhakti kavya also, it is like that. So here, Bhattatiri, even though he has abridged Bhagavata, he has eliminated such stories from Bhagavata which are not directly suggesting bhakti. So those who are directly connected with bhakti, those who can directly suggest bhakti, which can develop bhakti, such stories are being selected from Bhagavata by Natpatur Narayana Bhattatiri. Here, the basic text of Advaita philosophy is being depicted so aesthetically. Here, Advaita Vedanta, Narayaneeyam can be qualified as an Advaita Vedanta text, basically an Advaita Vedanta text, because the Advaita Vedanta theory has been started from the very beginning of the sloka, the very beginning of the Kavya. Sandra Ananda Avabodhatmakam. What is Sandra Ananda Avabodha? All these Ananda Avabodha, all these things are the characteristics of Paramatma, Brahma. So, this is the basic tenets of Advaita philosophy is being depicted so aesthetically through Kavya medium and the medium of poetry, and made appealing by the author to a great extent, which we cannot come across in any other Kavyas. This is the uniqueness of this Narayaneeyam Stotra Kavya. The basic text of Advaita and its dealing and its dealings in Narayaneeyam in poetic language is to be discussed little bit. Brahman is the only reality in Narayaneeyam, and Brahman is the only reality. He says, "Tumhi Brahmaiva Sakshat Paramuru Mahiman Aksharanam Akara Taro Mandreshu Rajnyam Manurasi Munishutvam Bhagurnaradovi Prahlado Danavanam Pashushuja Surabhi Pakshinam Vainateyo Naganam Asyananda Surasaridavi Jasrodasam Vishwamurte." O thou of infinite that greatness, of whom the whole universe is the body. This is Brahman. You are verily Brahman, perceptible among letters, though you are a, you are not a, you are a among mantras. Akaro mandreshu. You are the saving sound of Om. Among kings, you are Manu. Among sages, you are Bhrigu and Narada. Among Danavas, you are Prahlada. Among animals, you are the heavenly cow Kamathenu. And among birds, you are Garuda. Among serpents, you are Ananda. Among Ananda and among rivers, you are the heavenly Ganga, Vishnupati, Ganga. See how beautifully he has mentioned and how he has made it very clear how Brahman can be explained. And that is Adhyayana. And here he says that Tvam hi Brahmaiva Sakshat, this verse I have quoted here. The very first verse depicts this Sandrananda, that the Brahman, the Supreme Self, theorized by Vedantins, is the presiding deity of Guruvayur. The Brahman itself is the presiding deity of Guruvayur in the form of Lord Vishnu, Krishna incarnated. Here, Maya, the second point in Advaita Vedanta, we are talking about. We were talking about Brahman, the first principle. Ekam Advitiyam Brahma. And when you speak about the Vedanta, the second point is Maya or Avidya, which is indeterminable, either a Sat, that is real, and or Asat, this, and as an absolute nothing, appearing as Ishvara, the Jiva and the world. The Brahman, because of Maya, it appears as world. It appears as Jiva. It appears as Ishvara. Even in Advaita Vedanta, the ultimate stage, even Ishvara is negated. The great verses like Yade Toyashu Vada Gula Jalada Toya Purna Adi Purna, that in Markandeya Charita in the Narayaneeyam in 97th Dashaka, Saptarno Rashi Magne Jagadi Sadujale Sambram Varshakodi, Dina Praikshista Dure, Vadadala Sayanam Kanjidascharya Balam, Twameva Shyamalangam, Vadana Sarasijan Nyasta Padanguli. So, very beautifully it has mentioned that Yade Tuyashu, Vadagula Jaladagala Toya Purna Dighurna, Saptarno Rashi Madhye Jagadi, Sadujale Sambhaman Varshakodi, Kodi, Dina Praikshista Dure, Vadadala Sayanam Kanjid Ascharya Balam, Twameva Shyamalangam, Vadana Sarasijan Nyasta Padanguli. Immediately after that, the departure of Narayaneyam, the Markandeya Muni of age of 16. So in the wake of heavy winds and clouds, torrential rain, falling, and the seven seas overfalling and deluging the whole world. In that deluge, Markandeya found himself a helpless and a very wandered for cross of years. He has to cross several years in that water. At length, he saw at a distance a wondrous infant, blue in complexion, Dina Prakshishta Dure, Vanadala Sayanam, Kanchidashcharya Balam. And he saw an infant, a small baby, blue in complexion, lying on a banyan leaf and sucking its toes with its lotus mouth. Kararavindena Padaravindam Mukharavinde Viniveshayandam Vadasya Patrasya Puteshayanam Balam Mugundam Manasasmara. So this is the Maya. This is how Narayana showed his Maya to Markandeya Muni. Jiva is none other than Brahman. Bhushasu Swarnavadva Jagati Ghatasaravadige Mrtigaval Tattve Sanjindyamane. Like that it goes. Because of the paucity of time, I am not quoting. If I quote one verse and if I have to justify my explanations, at least it requires more than 1 hour to explain one shloka. The world is non-real as the silver that appears in a shell. Sukti Rajatavat. And the direct knowledge of the true nature of Jiva as Brahman is the role, is the sole means for celebration, for the liberation. According to Bhattatiri, the easy and attractive path for salvation, that is final emancipation, is bhakti. So he differs from Shankara in this point of view. His upaya is more akin and also appealing to the ordinary people. He has depicted all 9 types of bhaktis along with hundreds of shades of bhakti emotion through his poetic skill. The Navavidha Bhakti in Bhagavata has been illustrated through the stories of Parikshit. Parikshit Raja, hearing Bhagavata, he finally entered moksha. He reached moksha. That is Shravanam. And Kirtanam, always uttering the names of Krishna or Narayana, the Ajamila, Narada, and Vyasa, even the rishis, Prachetas, all these great gifted souls depicted in Bhagavata in several places. They are through Kirtanam, they attained Bhagavad Rupa. And Smaranam, that is, as you know, the story of Pandya Khandadiraja, Indradyumna Pandya Khandadiraja, Tvatbhakratma Chandaradra Ukadajit. Narayaneeyam starts like that. The story of the great devotee, Pandya Gaja. He became a Gaja. Even there he was Gajendra. He was the what we call the most revered, the most respected, the most powerful, the most what we call having the leadership among the elephants. So he is Gajendra. So Gajendra and even Vritrasura, they all through Smarana, because he cannot recite names, he cannot hear Bhagavata, but he, in his previous birth, what he had undergone, the great devotion to Vishnu, he just remembered because of his Purva Janmarjita Sukrita. He remembered it, and through Smarana, Gajendra and Vritrasura got liberated. And Padasevanam, that is Mahabali, the first example. He really merged in Pada of Mahavishnu, and even all wives of Krishna. Archanam, that is Daksha Prajapati, Kashyapa, Aditi, several examples are there in Bhagavata. And Vandanam, that is Mujukunda, Vidura, Bhishma, etc. And Dasyam, that is Prahlada and Sairandri. I am giving 1 or 2 examples, but there are several examples are there. And even Akrura. Akrura is just like a servant. Akrura Bhakti, when he was being depicted, when he went to the what we call the Gopavati, he was just rolling in the ground. Pamsu Swaveshtada Bhavat Charanangireshu. The footprints of Krishna, wherever he saw the footprints of Krishna, he was rolling in that mud. And that type of superior variety of bhakti, ignoring everything, his status and so many things. He is a direct brother of Kamsa and he belongs to a great royal family, but he forgot all his attributes. And he was rolling because of his deep devotion. And Sakhyam, that you can see, no, Arjuna, Sridama, Kuchela. And finally, Atma Nivedanam, that is Rukmini. And finally, the gopis, the gopikas. They surrendered themselves to Krishna. They know that they are not different from Krishna. Krishna at the last stage after Mahabharata Yuddha, Krishna reaches gopis and advises them, don't think that we are different. All Jivatmas are the same one, the Paramatma, the same one, and there is no difference. And this type of Abheda Buddhi was there in the very beginning of gopis. Gopis, even though they enact themselves as grief-stricken, but actually they are not grief-stricken. They are from the very beginning. Even when they sell the butter, milk, such things in the road in the early morning, they recite just butter like that, and slowly they will enter into the name of Krishna, different names of Krishna. Do you want Govinda? Do you want Krishna? Do you want Padmanabha? Like that. They change to their names. So they are fully immersed in the names of Krishna, in the bhakti of Krishna, and they never find any difference between themselves with Krishna. In Narayaneeyam, we find the Gopikas that they have undergone all the 9 types of bhaktis. That is the very peculiar aspect of Narayaneeyam. Bhagavata, it is explained, but it is just like an ocean. As Dr. Prabhakara has told, Mahabhagavatam is more than 18,000 slokas, and it is a very big work. And you cannot find at a stretch putting all these things together. All the shades of bhakti, all the varieties of bhakti are put in one nutshell, that is gopis. Gopis have undergone Shravana, Kirtana, Smarana, Padasevana, all these things up to Atma Nivedana. Finally, the Atma Nivedanam comes. So, in Narayaneeyam, we find the Gopikas that they have undergone all the 9 types of bhaktis and all the 9 varieties, and they attained the divine form and merged in Krishna. I pointed out my view earlier that on Narayaneeyam that it is a Kavya and a Shastra put in one. The Uttama Kavya, the most superior variety, is always pregnant with a rasa suggested. Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalaya. So a superior variety of a Kavya. Bhagavata is also considered as a Kavya. That is why the author, Krishna Dvaipayana, in the opening verse itself, he has mentioned that this is Rasamalayam. The Shabda, Artha, Alankara, Guna, Vritta, etc., the different ingredients of a Kavya, all should be directly or indirectly suggestive in nature to the central point that is rasa. Rasa should be suggested by all these elements. All these elements are being accepted in a Kavya only to suggest the central point of the Kavya, that is rasa. Here is here in Narayaneeyam, the real connoisseur will enjoy bhakti rasa in its fullest sense, though the architectonics, the Vyanjaka Samagri is called Shabda, Artha, Alangara, Guna, Vrta, and Vrta, etc., meter, etc. The meters selected in Narayaneeyam fully justify these observations, what I have made above. For example, in Rasa Panchadhyay, the 5 dashakas depicting Rasa Krida, among the 5 dashakas, the dashaka 69 is composed in Kusumanjari meter, which bears composed in Kusumanjari meter, which bears the characteristics of dance, music, joy, and finally the eternal bliss. Just I quote a verse from that. Venunada kritata anadana kalaga anaraga gatiyo jana lobhani amrudupada pata kritatala melana manoharam pani sankonita kankanam jamuhu amsalembita karambujam shroni bimba chaladambaram bhajata rasa keli rasadambaram. And again, at the end of the dance, all orchestra has been stopped, slowly came down. Ganami saviratam kramena kilavadyamelanamuparatam brahma sammadara sagula sadasi kevalam nanruturangana navidanna picha nivikam kimapi kundalim apicha kanchulim jyodisham api kadambagam divi vilambitam kimaparam bruve. The singing stopped. The sound of instruments, orchestra also gradually ceased. But immersed in the bliss of Brahman, the Gopikas continued to dance silently in that circle of dancers without accompaniments. Nor were they aware that their wearing clothes and braziers had slipped from the top of their chest and their breast, and that their hair had got loose and disheveled. Even the stars in their courses, seemed to stop to enjoy the blissful experience. What more I can say? Kima param bruve, what I can say more? So here the entire meter of the meter Kusumanjari is an effective medium to suggest Madhura Bhakti or Gopikas Pranaya Bhakti. Through Pranaya Bhakti, they all attained Brahman. And Ganami Saviratam Kramena Kilavadyamelanam Uparadam, that verse which I have quoted has clearly stated, suggested how these gopis, without any torture, by penance, by tapas, and also by acquiring knowledge, studying all shastras, they never need all these things. They, through their Madhura Bhakti, their Pranaya Bhakti, they identified themselves with God, Krishna, and they merged in that Brahma Sarupi, and finally they became Brahman. While dealing with Kaliya Darpa Harana in Kaliya Mardana Dashaka 55 and 56, he employs the meter called Todaka, of which the Gana Niyamas, the rules of Ganas, are fully akin to, very suitable to the dance of Krishna on the head of Kaliya. It is not like Rasa Panchadhyay dance. The dance of Rasa Krida and the dance on Kaliya are quite different. It is Uddhara Nirta. The other one is Lasya Nirta in Rasa Panchadhyay. Very mridula, very soft oriented, but it is very, very crude and very rude. The dance on the top of, on the head of Kaliya, what he has done. that is the meter selected here, the Todaka meter. The ganas in that all are very suitable to the example I will tell you. The sloka Atha Dekshu Videkshu Padekshu Bheda Pramito Daravari Ninada Bharai Udagadu Dagadu Ragatipatistu Dubantamasanda Rushandhamana. See how it is that the Uddhara Nirta, the Padanyasa, the placing of food on the top of the bhani, the sarpa, has been depicted by Bhattadiri. Even in 60th Dashaka, the depiction of dance continues with another meter called Druta Vilambita. There also the Druta Vilambita, how the dance and its gradual slowness, this has been suggested by Druta Vilambita. While depicting Narasimhavatara, the 25th Dashaka, where the lion god appeared, incarnated, Narasimhavatara, the meter selected is Shardula Vikridita. As its name suggests, the Shardula Vikridita, the name suggests, the emotions like Raudra, Veera, Jugupsa, etc. are brought to light with full vigor. Ulsarpadvali bhanga bheshanahanu hraswasthaviyasparagrivam pivaradosatol gadana khakruram sudurolpanam vyomolanghi ghanaghanopamakhana pradhwana nirdhavidaspardhalu prakaram namami bhavadat tannarasimham babu. So the Dashaka 76, where Uddhava Dudam is being dealt with as his predecessors done, Bhattadiri selects Mandakranta meter for sending message to gopis. The Sandeshakavya meter is known as Mandakranta. So first it has been used by Kalidasa. He is the man, the pioneer in the field. And later, all Sandeshakavyas, the poets, they have selected Mandakranta as the meter for Sandeshakavya. Why they have selected Mandakranta for this? Here, Narayana Bhattadiri also selected Mandakranta for this purpose. So, Rasa Krida Lulita Lilitam Visladhal Kesapasam Mandot Bhinnasrama Jalaganam Lobhaniyam Tudangam Karunyabdhe Sagradapi Samalingidum Dershayedi Premon Madal Bhuvana Madana Tulpriyastam Vilepu. The meter Mandakranta bears ganas like Magana and Nagana, which are full of gurus and lakhus. While it is a full of while the gana is full of guru, then there will be 6 matras. Each guru is having 2 matras. So totally it will be 6. So it will be very heavy. And laghu, when it is gana becomes laghu, it is only 3 matras. So just half of that. So it is light, less weight. The weight of the mind has been in separation. When you send a message to your lover, you are separated, and because of that, you have 2 emotions in your mind. The first one is eagerness to know about the other counterparts. That is outsukya, to know what is happening to her or to him. That will be one of the interesting emotions of a separated person. And the second one is dainya. Dainya is weakness due to separation. Your mind has become weak. And when your mind is full of sorrow, it will be full of weight. And guru, the gana has been suggested with the full of guru, it has suggested the heaviness of the mind, dainya. So dainya and outsukya, these are the 2 small emotions called Sanjari Bhavas or Vibhijari Bhavas to suggest the main rasa called Vipralamba Singara. While it is full of Guru, there will be 6 matras, and Laghu, it is only 3 matras. Heaviness with matras in Magana indicates Dainya due to the weight and Outsukya. When you have Outsukya, your mind should be free from weight. Then only you can move. When you have Outsukya, you have to move slowly and to know there what is happening. So your mind will start moving. When movement is there, then weight should diminish, and then Nagana comes. So Magana and Nagana, these 2 ganas play a pivotal role in the Mandakranta meter to suggest the Vipralamba Singara. Heaviness with matras like Magana, not like matra, the gana like Magana, and indicates Dainya due to the weight, and Outsukya by Nagana with Laghava. One is Laghu and the other is Guru. These 2 states of mind, Dainya and Outsukya, are the permanent Sanjari Bhavas, Venchakas, to suggest the Vipralamba Singara of gopis. This is why the Mahakavi Kalidasa, the great Kalidasa, has selected Mandakranta for composing a Sandesha Kavya, namely Maka Sandesha. Even this Vipralamba Singara finally suggests the significance of Bhakti Bhava of gopis and how it becomes the principal Upaya Marga, that is Marga, for Brahma Sakshatkar. Even Bhattadiri has gone to the extent to declare a statement through Uddhava that Evam Bhakri, Sagala Bhuvane Nekshira Nashrutava, Kim Shastra Ughaihi, Kimiha Tapasa, Gopikabhyo Namostu. Bhattadiri made it very clear that Uddhava learned the real principles of bhakti, which led to ultimate realization of self. The crux of Advaita Vedanta from gopis. Krishna sent Uddhava to Gopavati only to study the nature of bhakti, real bhakti. Uddhava is a bhakta, but his bhakta is led by Shastrajnana. So, Gopikas without any Shastras, they have not gone to any schools. They have not even a primary education. Elementary education they don't have. But still, they are fully knowledgeable persons. They are in the form of knowledge. They are in the form of God. And they are identical to the God. So, here, Krishna sent Uddhava to learn, to study what is the real nature of bhakti from gopis. Even Lord Krishna calls Uddhava as Buddhi Sattama. In spite of all this, even though he calls Buddhi Sattama, Krishna selected Uddhava to take his message to gopis. Krishna would have selected even a normal servant. Why this great king, the great minister, Uddhava, has been selected? He is an old man. He is a very, very scholarly person, occupying a very high position in the cabinet of Krishna, the main minister. That Uddhava, Krishna selected that Uddhava to take this message as a servant to gopis. It is simply to learn real Nishkama Bhakti from gopis, those who find no difference in their life. Veda Buddhi Nasha is the real Lakshana of a liberated soul. In Dashaga 84, where Bhattadiri depicts Samanda Panjaka Yatra, the 7th verse, Apagata Viraha Vyatha Stadata Rahasi Vidhaya Dadatha Tattva Bodham Paramasukachida Almakoham Almetyudayaduva Sfutameva Chetasidi. So, the meaning of this verse, having thus assuaged in solitude the griefs of the Gopikas arising from their separation from you, you didst bless them so as to generate in them the realization of the truth that you of the nature of supreme consciousness, bliss, are their innermost self. He is the innermost self of all living beings. So, abhagata virahavyatha padata rahasi vidhaya dadatha tattva bodham paramasukachida atmakoham almetyudayatu va spudameva chetasiri. This is the advice given by Krishna to gopis. And here, having thus told by Krishna, the gopis became painless. They get rid of all types of sorrows, worldly sorrows, and they enjoyed the real bliss, the real ananda with the advices of Krishna. The nature of Purana and Kavya are quite different. Bhagavata is a Purana and Narayaneeyam is a Bhakti Kavya. The detailed Vamsha Varnana, Sarga Pradisarga Varnana, etc., which are essentially the characteristics of a Purana, are kept away by Narayana Bhattadiri while selecting such stories. He selected only such stories which will directly bearing with bhakti, which will directly kindle bhakti, and only such Venjakas, stories in the form of Venjakas, are being selected to do proper Vengya for suggesting the real sense of bhakti in the Kavya. For example, the entire, he is a man of great brevity. He is his Sangraha Chaduri, his competency in condensing the stories. For example, in the Mahabharata story, the entire Bhagavad Gita, he has condensed in a half of a verse. Not even one verse. He took only half of a verse. He says, Ko Vadhya Kotra Handa, Tadiha Vadhabhiyam Brochya, Mai Arpidatma, Dharmyam Yudham Charedi, Prakriti Manayatha, Darshayan Vishwarupa. This 86 Dashaka, 6th shloka. So again in Dashaka 35, if you go back, in several places we can see one or two suitable examples I want to point out. One of the best examples, more than this, Bhagavad Gita, the entire Sundara Kanda, the story, has been abridged very cleverly, very brilliantly by Malpatur Narayana Bhatta. It is thus: Twadvarta Karnano Gyatgarudurujava Sambadi Sambadi Vakya Protirnarnodhi Andarnagari Janagajam Virchya Dattwanguliyam Pradyudyodyanam Akshakshapanata Narana Sodhavendo Deshasyam Društva Pluštva Jalangam Jatidisa Hanuman Mauliratnam Dadaute. Here the Sampadi, who developed new wings on listening to your holy account, actually he lost all the wings. But hearing the story, the new wings have been developed in his body. And go before flying away, directions about Sita's whereabouts to Hanuman, who thereupon, the Hanuman, leaped over the ocean to Lanka, where he met Sita and gave her the signet, the signet ring. Then he destroyed the gardens of Lanka, killed Akshakumara, the son of Ravana, and in fight put up with the bondage of the Brahmastra employed by Meghanada, and met Ravana, burned Lanka, returned to the mainland, and presented to Rama the crest jewel given by Sita as a mark of recognition. See, what a wonderful brevity of expression, how his Sangrahana Chaturi, the condensing power, the entire gamut has been brought into one shloka. The entire Sundara Kanda has been abridged with full propriety. The Jayadeva, along with his concerts, Padmavati, traveled throughout Bharatavarsha and spread bhakti with his composition Gita Govinda and its dance presentation Ashtapadi. Like other art forms and literary works, Narayaneeyam also has been influenced by Gita Govinda and its dance form Ashtapadi art. In the stories of Radha and Krishna, this influence can be traced out to a great extent. Especially the character Radha is not at all traceable in Bhagavata. Bhagavata, there is no character like Radha. In Narayaneeya, we can see references of Radha in several contexts, especially in Rasa Krida. This is a clear instance of high influence of Gita Govinda and its dance form on Narayaneeya, that Ataprakara on Narayaneeya. Even the Krishnatam, the well-known Sanskrit theatre of Guruvayur Devasthanam, belongs to Kerala, which has evolved during the same period, more or less the same period of Narayaneeyam composition, also being influenced by Ashtapadi cult. In Ashtapadi dance, Krishna, Radha, and lady maid, a friend of Radha, are the three characters. Only three characters are there in that theatre, Ashtapadi theatre. As we discussed from the very beginning, we can visualize multi-dimensional approaches of Bhakti and Vedanta philosophy, their practical experiences through hundreds of characters with different aesthetic shades. Agre pasyami tejo nibidataragala valilobhaniyam piyusha plavitoham tadanu tadudere divyakaishoravesham Tarunyarambharamyam Paramasukharasaswadaro Manjirangaihi Avitam Naradadyihi Vilasadu Vanishat Sundari Mandalaischa Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Vasyandu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet Srimad Bhagavadakhyoyam Pratyaksha Krishna Evahi Siyurdosi Mayanatha Mukriyartham Bhavasagare Guruvayu Puradhisha Prasida Karunagara Purushottama Vaikuntha Toi Sarvam Samarpitam Shubhamastu. I have great reverence to Dr. C.L. Prabhakar, my senior brother and friend, who invited me to Bengaluru to Veda Ahyayana Kendra and gave all types of honors to me, the title Vedashri and other things and all allied things to that of an honor. I have great reverence to both of you, sir. And even though I am sitting far away, I can see you on the screen and find, and you and your Dharma Patni, and with these my observations, I beg to remain. We will be meeting soon on some grounds on Bhagavata discussion or something, some Narayani or something in the nearest future. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Murali Madhavan. This is very wonderful talk. You know, in Bhagavad Gita, we all become Arjunas. You have shown us how, in Narayaneeyam perspective, you're all Gopikas. So we all have the Gopika Tattva. So we are, you know, transformed into Gopikas in our spirit, and we have given so many great, you know, topics on how bhakti is the core, and the extraction of the bhakti portions of Bhagavatam is very uniquely done, and all the technical details of the meters and everything. So you have given very comprehensive talk today. Very, very enjoyed everything that you were saying today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
We can maybe ask some questions. I don't know if audience are able to ask questions. So does anybody have any questions? So you mentioned Sundarakanda. How did Sundarakanda context come into this?
No. When this Rama Avatara has been depicted, all the 10 avatars of Vishnu has been depicted in Narayaneeyam. And while Bhattadiri uses 2 dashakas, that is 20 shlokas for the depicting Rama Avatara. And in that, the entire Ramayana has been condensed, 24,000 verses has been condensed into 20 shlokas. That there you can see the Sangrahana Chaturi of Narayana Bhattadiri. How he is so clever. He never left any important element, but he never used any unnecessary words to make it big. So he done it in a so very cleverly, very brilliantly, and in the where he explained he depicts the Hanuman. Hanuman goes to Lanka and come back. The entire portion he has just took only 1 shloka. Tudvar Tagara, I have mentioned that shloka, and with 1 shloka he could explain the entire Sundarakanda very beautifully, without leaving any significant element from Sundarakanda, bringing all Sundarakanda in that.
So you said all of that was in 1 shloka? You said 1 shloka?
One shloka. The entire story of Sundarakanda as that's why I have explained in English also, how that entire up to what we call reaching back to Rama and hand over the that signet ring to Rama as a confirmation that he saw Sita, and to confirm that he gave that ring. So the entire story of Sundarakanda has been taken from the very beginning. Todwar Tagarnanodya Geru Duruja Vasambadi Sambadi Vakya Rotir Narnodhir Andarnagari Janagajam Vilchya Dattu Anguliyam Prakshudyodyanam Akshakshabana Tanarana Sodabando Dashastyam Drushtua, seeing Ravana, Dashastyam Drushtua, Plushtua Langa. He spoiled the entire Langa, burned the entire Langa. Plushtua Langa, Jadidisa Hanuman, Mauli Ratnam Dadaute. He gave Mauli Ratna to Rama. So the entire story of Sundarakanda has been condensed very brilliantly by Malpatur Narayana Bhatta, so cleverly, so powerfully, without losing any poetic sense, poetic charm from that. And the words, Shabda, Artha, and all those things being used, very, very rhythmic. You have seen how Rasa Krida he is according to the Kusumanjari meter being selected to depict the Rasamanja Adhyayana. There the Keshapa Ashadhrata Pinchika Vitati Sanjalan Makaragundalam Harajala Vanamalika Lilita Mangaraga Kana Saurabham Pita Chela Dhrata Kanji Damudanjadam Sumani Puram Rasa Keli Paribhushitam Davahi Rubami Sakalayamahe. It goes like that. I am not a musician to sing beautifully, but this is the meter which has been selected by Bhattadiri for depicting the beautiful dance, Rasa Nritta. This is the best meter to suggest the beauty of Rasa Nritta. So what I have tried to say that whatever he selects to the kavya, whether it is shabda, artha, alangara, whatever it may be, that will be always befitting to bhakti rasa.
Very, very nice. Rita madam, please go ahead. You have a question. You're muted. Please, can you unmute?
Thank you very much. My husband is from Kerala. So
Oh,
I am
great.
really enjoying this presentation. I have visited Guruvayur also.
Very good.
Very nice. And currently I am a student of Vedanta also. And so I had a question. You have beautifully brought together, of course, in Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta, it is not, we are mostly followers of Shankaracharya, who is quite strictly, the two paths can be combined. So it's very nice to hear that your presentation where both bhakti and jnana can be combined. But in traditional texts like Drigdrishya Viveka, for example, in verse 12, I may not pronounce this correctly, Mano ahankrityu padanam lingamekam jadatmakam avasthatraya manveti jayate mriyate tata. So the subtle body, which is the material cause of the mind and egoism, is one and of the nature of insentiency. It moves in the three states and is born and it dies. So how exactly does the, if devotion and antakaran and all of these are part of material nature, how is it that we are able to transcend to Brahman? And that is only, I think, through Vishnu Anugraha. Don't you think? It's not otherwise possible.
Yeah. I agree with that. That is the point actually. Actually, I have tried little bit to speak on that, but my main domain was bhakti and philosophy. How it can, it is not two different things. Actually, bhakti is a kind of love to the God, and Vedanta, it is detachment. One is attachment, the other is detachment. So in the prima phase, you may see a difference, but ultimately there is no difference. Actually the rakti, the love to the God is the detachment. That means it is the detachment to the world. Once you are attached to the God, that the Brahman, then you will be detached to the world. So attachment itself becomes detachment in the real sense of nishkama bhakti.
Yes, I understand. Very nice point. Very nice point.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There is one more question. Can you point out some thematic addition popular in Kerala which cannot be seen in Bhagavata?
Actually, there are some expressions we can see. Some type of phrases, some type of expressions. For example, I will tell you, Shiva Shiva Kilatam Garbhineem Abhyahasi. This prayoga, this usage in Ramayana Katha in the 35th Dashaka of Narayani. Shiva Shiva, what is the sense of it? A Sanskrit man from outside Kerala, he cannot understand what is the meaning of this. He is maybe a good scholar in Sanskrit, but he cannot follow what is Shiva Shiva. Shiva Shiva is an expression in Malayalam to scold or to abuse somebody, or even to curse somebody. So that type of negative sense is there in Shiva Shiva. Actually, the word Shiva Shiva is very positive. But in Kerala, the usage, the phraseology is like that. It gives a bad sense, a negative sense. So such type which are normally used by Nambudiri families, by Nambudiri Brahmins in Kerala, they use such phrases, and those phrases are being abundantly used in Narayaneeyam. And that is the influence of local. And from this you can understand, a man can understand that this is a work from Kerala. These are some insignia of this work. And like that, and some stories also are there, but not that much. We can say that the stories are exclusively from Kerala. More in South India, there are several stories are there. Some mostly Bhattadari has adopted only Bhagavata stories. He never taken any element. But as I told you, that Radha is not there in Bhagavata. But Bhagavata came to Radha came to the as a character, main character in, not main character, but a very predominant character in Narayaneeyam, especially in Rasakrida and other places, where he abandons all other gopis and take only Radha and go with her and disappeared, and like that. That stories are going on. So Radha has some significance in Narayaneeyam, but the Radha you cannot see in Bhagavata. So this is an influence of Ashtapadiyata, Gita Govinda of Jayadeva, and Radha is the predominant character in there. Radha and Krishna, the hero and heroine in Gita Govinda. But that dance came here, and it has influenced Kerala, and Kerala influence has come in Narayaneeyam also as a chain. As a chain activity, it has influenced all art forms. As I told you, that even Krishnatam has been influenced by Gita Govinda. Gita Govinda is not as a Sanskrit text. Even as Sanskrit text, the composition of Gita Govinda has been influenced in Narayaneeyam. When he writes some Dandaga and other things, some long meters and like that, there you can see the Samastapada Prayoga and other things, where the words are being combined as a good strain continuously, long, that is called Samastapada in Sanskrit, and such things are there. But that we cannot say that it is a directly Kerala influence, but that culture came from outside into Kerala, and on Kerala stages, the Ashtapadi dance has been, Gita Govinda dance has been, what do we call, being enacted in plenty. It has got a Prachura Prachara, and based on that, it has influenced slowly Narayaneeyam and other, because Jayadeva, their culture, their dance and other things came to Kerala in the 14th century, 15th century, like that. And 1617 is the Narayaneeyam. So gradually this has come. And Krishnatam, the Krishna Geeti. Krishnatam is the Sanskrit theatre. It is also contains a form of Bhagavata, but Bhagavata, the Dashamaskandha, the story of Krishna, that only has been being condensed in the with the screenplay, with dialogues as a drama. It is being set from Avatara to Surgaravana of Krishna. So there also you can see these influences. So normally in all literary works you can see that influence. And the Nambudiri Bhattadari belongs to a Brahmin family, Nambudiri family. That's why the Nambudiri language also being in has some place in Narayaneeyam in several places. And you can see Dattagarastu the Itchakaha, that putting the finger on the this. That is a Malayalam expression, Mukattu Verluvachu. That is a Malayalam expression that is being just translated to Sanskrit. But this type of Dattagarastu the Itchakaha, this type of expression you cannot find in other text, Sanskrit text, apart outside Kerala. Only in Kerala, because Kerala has some character, some manners, mannerism, our behaviorism, or our language, our phrases, our culture. All these things will reflect in the literary pieces. And that's why in Narayaneeyam you can see plenty of it. But Narayaneeyam, it is a unique work. And I think there is no parallel, as Dr. Prabhakara has told in the beginning, in the inaugural speech, that there is no equal, nothing is equal to Narayaneeyam, no Kavya. It is top to bottom, Keshadipadam, as we say, that is full of bhakti. And bhakti has been depicted. It is more sweeter than Sringara and even any other rasa. And Sringara is the, normally worldly people, they take Sringara as best and the most suitable and most what we call sweetest emotion among emotions. But Bhattadiri, even Singara, he made as an auxiliary, as a subordinate component to Bhakti. And Bhakti is the final destination of all living souls, and that what we call Jivatmas. And that has been well depicted by Narayana Bhattadiri in Srimad Narayaniyam.
Very, very nice references of Kerala, and like you're saying, it's very indirect, subtle, but it is very much, major influence in the text. And Kerala is such a beautiful place. I know my father, he visited every place, and from America to Calcutta to everywhere. But when he came back from Kerala, I remember he was the most excited about the nature, Guruvayur. So he's really excited about. So it's wonderful to hear from you. Any other questions? So anybody has, please speak up.
Thank you, Murali, sir. I'm Narayan Poti. Sir, you dipped all of us in the Ganga of Bhakti. All of us might have experienced Bhakti, but this was a unique experience of Bhakti by your description, and you dipped into the Ganga of Bhakti. This new experience of Bhakti.
Here the thing is that the people from different countries, they are participating in this program. The main who is organizing this is from America. Dr.
Wonderful.
Prabhagar. And
wonderful.
So it is a wonderful experience. I also had. It is a very, very rarely happening in the life that to get chances to speak about Narayaneeyam and like that. And it is a big thing. And Narayaneeyam is just like a Nama mantra, and it has no parallel, no equal to Narayaneeyam. That is what he himself has told Bhattadiri in the beginning. Yat Trailokya Mahiyaso Vimahidam Sammohanam Mohana Kandam Kandinithanadopi Madhuram Madhuryadhuryat. So even sweetness has to go away. This is the real sweetness. So
yes, but
it's about God and also about the Kavya.
Yes, but I am having a pure question. There is a story in Kerala that the Lord Guruvayurappan, Lord likes the Bhakti of Pundana more than the Bhakti of Bhattadiri. But you proved that Bhagavan is Bhattadiri has more Bhakti. Then now I think
actually, the internal evidences of Narayaneeyam is not allowing me to speak like that. That Narayana Bhattadiri is lacking Bhakti and like that. Actually, that is a story being designed by the Vallatol Mahakavi. It is his what we call his creativity. It is only a product of his creativity. It has no reality. Actually, when you go through Narayaneeyam, you cannot even he is a more devotee than Pundanam, and he is more humble and simple in his life. Jnanam tapascha vinayanyutameva manyam. Mahatma says, see how a person who is arrogant in nature can express like this. Jnanam tapascha vinayanyutameva manyam. Jnanavum tapassum vinayanyutamaganam ennu അദ്ദേഹം പറയും. See? So how Narayanan Poti, we can say that Malpattur is arrogant. Vallatol has told poets are free and they can tell anything. They can deviate from the main story. To make a story, they may deviate, they dishevel, they demolish the entire story.
I fully agree with you, sir. You saved. I fully agree with you, sir. You saved Narayana Bhattadiri from a misconception created by a story.
I spoke last Pundanam day also. Some last Ashuri, the last one. That Ashuri was the birthday. Kumbhamasathe Agunnu Nammude Janma Nakshatram Ashuri Nalennu that Pundanam says. So on that day I spoke on Pundanam. And I told that these are simply misleading stories. And I found fault with Vallathol in creating such stories.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You cleared a misconception. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
okay,
you.
okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Any other question? Okay. So I think we can conclude. Nana, you want to say some concluding remarks? You can unmute. You're muted right now. Nana, you're muted.
Like Hanuman taking the message and work and mission and success of Rama. And our Dr. Murali Madhavan looks like Hanuman, carrying that message and greatness of the poet and the Narayaneeyam. So I wish many more lecture series should go to make that Narayaneeyam such a wonderful, contentful kavya. That's why he has already styled it as a multi-dimensional. So that multi-dimensional is not completed within a short time, but we have to go on with the voyage of trying to explore the various content and directions of that. Of course, we are just celebrating Narayaneeyam, reciting the slokas and performing puja to Guru Ayur Krishna, keeping his big picture in our Kendra, and one Kerala lady that is Alumelu Manga, Maitreyan. She is the Alumelu Maitreyan. She's a strong devotee. She has got more than 40-50 friends who are coming in group, they reside. So every year, 2 times in a year, they will come and spend about 4.5 hours. They start at 9 and complete by about 1:30, then prasadam. Every time people might get tired. So when they complete the Dashakam, offer Daivadyam to Rukmini Kalyanam or Krishna Jananam or etc. And all those episodes, when they are over, so people are getting now and then prasadam, madhye paniyam samarpayami. The prasadam is being given to the, so that they could stand for 4 hours. So 9 to 1 o'clock or something like that. So that is only a religious experience we have had all these years. But today, internationally, we could know the Narayaneeyam, how integrated the text and Kavya, Purana, so many factors have been combined in that. In fact, I am just wondering, the Shiva Shiva and some such type of Kerala, not only in Kerala, that is, it's also there in our Andhra Pradesh or Karnataka. Whenever it is something that you cannot hear, not to be heard, suppose its utterance is done, Shiva Shiva, Krishna Krishna, like that we used to say, to get rid of the Shantam Papam, Shantam Papam. So instead of telling Shantam Papam in Sanskrit, they just try to summarize and say, Shiva Shiva, Krishna Krishna, no. So that kind of colloquial practices are also introduced, that I am coming to know that, because after all, any kavya reflects the society and also personal life of the poet. So the choice of the meters, so many factors our Murali Madhavan has, and I think is the right messenger and right person to propagate the importance, significance of Narayaneeyam. At the same time, the bhakti contained, and somebody has put any Kerala references, all that language, all that feelings, everything is from Kerala only, but Kerala is not separate, it's a unit, and it is universal one. Kerala is also land, Bharat. Therefore, people have only different, that what called Vesha, Bhusha, Bhasha. That's the only differentiating from place to place. All the entire land is one. That's why Vishwam Vishnu. So that Vishwam Vishnu implies all these differences are merged before the feet of Narayana. So we have had a wonderful time, sir. And in fact, there was no... Yeah.
Expressed in very well.
Madam is speaking. So just...
Oh, I am hearing, madam.
Madhura Bhakti with Nayaka Nayaki Bhava, we experienced, as my son said, we are all.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah. It is. It is like that. Yeah.
That Anjaneya Prasad is
Every
our
year we hear the renderings and we enjoy, and
music.
all the episodes we enjoy. Today we understood the content, Bhagavatam, Gita Govindam, Sundarakanda,
Megha Sandesam.
Megha Sandesam, all the kavyas are included in the Narayaneeyam. The name Narayaneeyam itself is Hariharatmakam.
Very good. Very good.
So I think we can conclude. So thank you all for joining us, and thank you, Dr. Madhavan sir, again for a wonderful, memorable talk on Narayaneeyam. We really enjoyed and appreciate your.
And one more point, I just want to announce, another Kerala scholar is peeping to continue talk on Shankaracharya, because that Murali Madhavan, Neelakanthan, CM Neelakanthan is again a good friend who has been accorded the same honor by our Veda a little earlier than you, sir. And I requested him to speak. Then he said, I want to talk on Shankara. And his recent book publication next month, same 27th March, he is going to still deliver the talk. And then I remember when you said Shankara and Bhattatiri are not different, is second to Shankara. So it is worthwhile to have Shankara, whether the positions are different. So I think
both are Shastragaras and both are poets.
Yeah. So now we are getting another neighbor of our Bhattatiri long back, that is Shankaracharya. And moreover, we are going to have the Shankara Jayanti also, the happy birthday of Shankaracharya very soon.
Okay, very good.
So
very good.
we would have the talk on Shankara next month. I don't know next, but so this Narayaneeyam and Shankara, both Bhattatiri, we are able to remember, and now it has become a global program. Many people. Now it is.
Narayaneeyam became a global thing.
And there are so many Narayaneeyam Sanghams are there.
Actually, when I went to Heidelberg University in Germany, I met a scholar there from a German scholar. He is working on Narayaneeyam. He is doing research in Narayaneeyam, and he is working on the philosophical dimensions of Narayaneeyam, the Dvaita, Advaita, and Vishishta Advaita, and all those things. So people are there working on Narayaneeyam in different countries.
Yes.
Yavastasyanti
Girayaha.
Saridasya Mahitale.
Save so much.
All great works are like that.
Yes. So the Narayanam is gaining ground and importance, influence. And moreover, I have advised all people to recite the 8th Dashakam, 13th Slokam for all sorts of healing and health. And because that is being marked out by Paramacharya Kanchi, he has given some description, said you just recite the 8th Dashaka, 13th, it will be a Sarvaushadham. It is a Aushadham for all kinds of complaints.
See, I have started my lecture that Guru Ayurappa is a Bhishak and a Bheshajam.
Yeah, exactly. So
it is a rare combination that medicine and doctor becomes one.
Yes. So, in order to add to your proposition, soon after Shankara's talk, there will be 2 cardiologists, Anand and Sekkalingam from Madras, and one from America, to talk about hunger, fasting, and Ekadasi, and further effect on our system.
Very good. Very good idea. Very good topic.
So, from the medical point of view, what is the hunger, fasting, and Narayana? These 3 things.
Hunger,
Father and son are doing this workshop for again.
Very good. That is on which day?
28th of March. 27th is Murali Madhav.
Shankara Jayanti. Shankara program.
Shankara talk by that Neelakanthan, and next will be Anand and Chokkalingam. Both are cardiologists, father and son.
Okay. Very good.
So I think,
I wish a grand success for the program.
Yeah, if you are there, you can also log in and add to the whole show. You are
Yeah,
welcome.
yeah. I will participate. I will participate.
Yeah, please.